Fun and Mommas podcast where we talk about co-parenting. The good, the bad,
the funny, and the sad.
I'm Maria, I'm the stepmom.
And I'm Sam, I'm the mom.
And...
I'm Carlos, I'm the dad.
Can you say that any more fucking often? I'm Carlos, I'm the dad.
So, we've got Carlos here today.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about dating when you have kids.
Yes.
So, it seemed like a good one for him to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have your I'm trying to whisper, stage whisper.
So, I had someone message, just real general. She just said, can you guys talk about what it's like to date when you have a kid, or either you're dating someone who has kids? So, who should go first? Because for me, my perspective would be dating someone who has a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the second person I've dated that has a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you
I
also
literally forgot about the other one.
And then you think about dating when you have a kid too.
And then
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So I guess
rules on that.
I'll go first, and then I'll talk about how we.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt like something that I really liked about Carlos was that he was a dad, and he took. Like, I could tell he was a good dad just by the way that he would, like, you know, bring Jaden to, like, work. Just as a friend, before we dated. She would come by and see him and, you know, give her a little cute little whipped cream cup with mocha from Starbucks.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you for that.
I tried to give her a cake pop and she would never eat it.
She never liked the cake
Never
pops.
liked them.
I know.
Because she, like, obsessed with whipped cream. And she would even ask me, Mom, can you give me
She's
whipped cream with chocolate? I'm like, no.
I mean, who doesn't like whipped cream?
She never finished it,
Come
though.
on. Who doesn't like
She
it?
never
But
does.
she would always ask.
She just-
even
I
though
think she just-
asked for it.
I think she just
like,
liked that it was special for her.
yeah.
You know, that's what she
That's
liked.
true.
Yeah.
What did she call it?
The
I don't know.
The cup of chocolate.
cup of chocolate whipped cream.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
something like that. I don't know.
Chocolate
It was
whipped
She
cute.
was so little.
Because when we
Yeah.
started dating, Jaden was
did.
6, and then she turned 7 like a couple months after we started dating.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had dated someone a little bit previously who had a kid, but I could tell it was like not a good vibe because if we were out in public and then like baby mama's friends saw him, he would be like, you don't exist. I don't know you. Yeah.
Oh, hell
And then, like,
no.
I went to his house to meet his son, and I get there and realize, oh, your baby mama's stuff is here. She lives with you in this 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm here. Mm-mm. So we didn't work out. I was kind of done, because I was like, there's too much in this. So it didn't feel like any of that with Carlos. Like, I could tell that they had a good relationship just from seeing you guys interact at Starbucks. And then, you know, I knew how important it was to make sure that Jaden and I, like, got along. Even though she
Bonded.
was so little, it was easy to bond with her because she just wanted, like, a friend to play with, you know? I knew it was important, so I was nervous about it. Yeah. But I did meet Jaden really quickly.
Very quickly.
But I will say, we knew each other for a long time through work. Like, he knew I was a good person. Mm-hmm. He had seen me with my nieces and stuff on, you know, Snapchat, whatever, bringing them into Starbucks. So it wasn't like I was a stranger coming in and meeting her after a couple months. It was someone that, you know, we knew each other. But we started dating in January, and then I met her mid-February, right? It was like 6 weeks later. But it was because because I feel like it was after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like a week or so after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Right? It's a picture.
I remember.
I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, she's not going to meet her, you know, for a while. And then, like, I seen the picture on Valentine's Day that he posted of him, like, carrying her. And I think it was you that took it.
I did. I don't know when.
Yeah, it was on Valentine's Day. It was, you guys, I think, were, like, at
I'm
Red
literally
Robin.
checking right now.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
and I
don't know when it was.
remember...
Oh, was that the year prior?
No.
2018? What do you mean year prior?
Because I was thinking of when we were at La Lounge. Or was that the same day?
La Belange. That's the...
On Valentine's Day, remember?
This is the Valentine's that we went to the...
call.
This is the... Oh, yes, it was that Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it was that
Taj
year. Yeah, it was the same year.
The Indian place in downtown Ventura is where we went.
Mamba Lounge? I was
I'm
like,
that's the Starbucks.
thing.
What am I thinking of? 'Cause they have like
It's the Indian place.
What is that place called?
February 15th.
What is this place called?
It's the Taj Cafe. Here, Rabelais.
Rabelais.
Yeah. I know. I was like, you're what? I was so confused.
I was like,
So he posted on February 15th, the day after
the day after.
Yes, because he was supposed to get her
Where'd
on
you get her,
Valentine's
though?
Day. That's when.
That's when
I'm
you
pretty
guys,
sure.
Yeah, that's when you guys had.
Because you were supposed to have her the day of Valentine's Day. That's hilarious. But instead, I was with you, and so she ended up staying with your mom.
With my mom,
on
yeah, because
Valentine's.
he asked
Which
her.
was no,
can you watch it?
she offered, or you guys offered, because
I had told him if you need someone to watch her, just tell my mom because I'm gonna be out.
Which was nice because we were both in new relationships.
Yeah,
at the
mine
time.
was fairly new.
Yeah,
too.
so it was nice of your mom to offer.
Yeah.
And so she was supposed to be there at the house, but instead I was there. And his mom walks in and starts screaming at him because she thinks that he's neglecting his daughter and drinking with some random girl. And I'm just sitting there while his mom's yelling at him in Spanish, and then he's yelling back. He was pissed, and then
my mom ended up finding out because when your mom went to go pick up Jaden from my house, she was saying how pissed off she was, and all of a sudden my mom's like, "Oh, I told him he can leave her."
Yeah, it was. Anyway, so the day after,
I'm off on my own Valentine's Day, like not knowing what's going on at all.
So the next day,
big old thing going on.
Big old things going on, and I'm all like with my ex now at the time, but like now having a good time, and then I come home and I'm like, guess what happened?
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So
why didn't anybody tell me?
The next day I think was Thursday, and so that's when I met her. We went to the mall and played at that play gym.
Yeah,
and then we
always
got
used to take her.
ice cream and noodles, I think, at Cal Ramen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was just funny because like the dinner that we had when he had like talked about you, he's like, yeah, like I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna rush it. Like I don't want her to meet her just yet.
But literally,
and then I ended up seeing like that post like literally like 2 weeks later, and I was like, fucking guy.
Well, it's because we were like this close to going and eloping. We were so ready. Like literally in February, we almost got married. Straight up. Yeah, that's how. So it's good though.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like
I appreciate you guys taking your time.
Of course. We were like, yeah, a lot of people will probably be upset. We shouldn't do that, but I think we just knew right away that we were each other's person, and to me, it was like I wanted to get it out of the way to meet her because I knew if it didn't go well and she was not receptive to me, then I didn't want to continue a relationship because like I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm in the middle of you and your child's relationship. You know, I'm not going to disturb that. That's fine. Yeah. So it was like getting so serious so fast, and I just wanted to meet her. Yeah. Luckily, you guys had communicated at least about me, so you knew I existed.
Yeah, I knew you existed.
You were cool. Yeah. I didn't have to deal with baby mama drama.
Yeah, there was no like negative input for me.
Yeah.
Like I heard nothing but good things, so that's why I was like, that's why I had told you I was like, well. Like in our letters, you know, like said, in our things, I was like, if you ever want to go have a drink, I'm more than willing to. Like, it's fine.
And I like that you messaged him and said, like, our baby's special. Make sure you remember that when she meets her. Like, she's special.
Yeah,
but it was something like that.
Like it was like, don't just have
careful,
anybody around her
because she's special.
Because she is a very special girl. Like whoever's around her needs to understand that. Like. She has a lot of support and stuff. You know what I mean?
So,
How did it feel prior, like the first time that you dated someone with a kid? Did you hesitate because they had a kid? Like, or did you care?
I never cared because I'm just so used to being around kids with my family. Like, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I've been in their lives since they were born, and I always loved spending time with them. So, like, to me, a kid is just, like, a fun plus because I feel like I'm naturally that kind of person who has fun with kids when they're around. So it was never a
weird thing.
Yeah, if I was dating and they had a kid, that wasn't a no. What would be a no is, are they being a present dad? Yeah. Do they have drama with their baby mama that's unresolved? Are they still messing with their baby mama? Like, that's more what I was worried about. It wasn't if they have a kid or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, when I first started dating, one of my exes that had a kid, his kid was a little bit older. I didn't think we were going to meet, like, each other's kids, right off the bat. We're going together for, 8 months. I think that's where I set the rule where if I'm not with anybody for more than like 3-4 months, like I don't want them to meet my kid. Or if like, you know, I want to wait until that many times, just because like from my experience, I don't know, it just didn't rub me the right way. And then like, I didn't know I was going to meet his son right then and there, and I went to go pick up my scarf because it was like one of my favorite ones, and I was like, I really want it. I'm like, you know, it's cold. And I went to go get it. I didn't know that he had a son, and then like he brought him out, and I was like, oh shit, I'm doing this right now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And then like, you know, I said hi, and the little boy was so cute. Like he still talked to the baby mama. Like I actually introduced myself to her too, because I had told my ex, like, I don't want it, no drama, like at all. Like you guys understand that I am, you know, just leave me out of it, you know? And then we had Jaden and his son like around each other a few times, but what made me kind of take like a step back was like, oh, he had told me that he didn't want to be around Jaden because it was disrespectful to Carlos. And to me, I'm like, but you have me around your son, so you're not willing to respect your baby mama then.
Yeah.
Like that's
why
how
is
I
that?
took it.
Why is
that okay? Why
equal?
are you praising him
but not
her? And you have to deal with her. You don't have to deal with him.
Yeah. That's like he doesn't view it as equal.
You know, and that didn't sit well with me at all.
Yeah.
So I really thought about it, and I think like a week later I ended up just being like, you know what, I don't think this is gonna work. Like I don't want anybody around me that doesn't even want to be around my kid.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because that's just, that's not cool. So, you know, I ended up with him, and then actually really not that much later, I got with my ex, the one I was living with for like 5 years. Yeah. He seemed really, you know, okay, and he was like, you know, like not, it wasn't an issue that I had a child, and I told him, I was like, look, I want to wait. I don't want you meeting her right away, like, but we actually became friends first, and then I had her around him just a couple of times. But even then, it wasn't like we were hanging out all the time. It was like very rare.
Right.
And then when we actually did start dating, I still waited at least like 3 months.
Yeah.
Until like they were fully around each other, and then I ended up living with him like another 4 months later. That relationship wasn't good, but I was like, okay, after that, no, I don't want to date anybody at all. And then like 2 years later, bro, another ex came around. I'm like, son of a bitch, man. I was like, I don't want my kid around like these guys that are just like revolving. Like I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like I was being a hypocrite, because I would give him shit, being like, I don't want just anybody around her. You know, but with these relationships that I had, like that one guy, I was with him for like 5 years. And I lived with him for 4.
Right.
And I thought it was going to work out, but, unfortunately, it became really ugly.
You don't go into things thinking they're not going to work out.
Exactly.
Usually, so
and then
I don't think you made any mistakes.
And then the most recent one, my recent ex, like, it was the same thing. But I waited 6 months, though, for him. When you guys started dating, I had even told him, I was like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with.
And then I would even tell my ex, I was like, well, if she don't like you, like, I'm sorry, this isn't gonna work out. Like, I fucking scared the shit out of him so bad. Yeah. He was like, okay.
I feel like that's a valid thing to be worried about, though. I was worried about that.
Yeah, and then when we went out, I was like, okay, like, I had gotten my income tax, and I was like, all right, I need to go get Jaden some clothes and stuff like that. So I always try and spend, money on her for like clothes, shoes, whatever she needs. And I was going to go to the Valencia Mall, and he was like, oh, you guys have fun. I was like, well, do you want to go? And he's like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, if you want to come, like, if you want to meet her, like, you can meet her. Like, I'm okay with that. Because I had him meet Carlos first. Before he met Jaden. Yeah. I think that's where I fucked up the previous times. I didn't really have Carlos meet them, and I should have. Well, for me, I felt like I should have done that.
Like,
it's not necessarily like something
have you ever cared about like meeting the boyfriend before they met Jaden?
No, but I get that's like for Sam's like
peace of mind.
Yeah. Like, for me, it's like, because I wanted Carlos to know that, like, I'm not just having anybody around.
I think he trusts you a lot.
So,
he knows you're very protective of Jaden, too.
But it was just more or less, like, something that I always wanted to do.
Yeah, no,
like,
I understand.
Like, I want you to see who's around her so that way you know, like,
because
I'm not,
you want the same thing.
Yeah, like, I would want...
The same respect.
Yeah. Even though, like, I'm not saying that I never got it, but, I mean, he really didn't have to do that either. You know, so I never expected him to do it. It was just for me personally.
Yeah,
like, I
you felt like that was the right thing to do. Yeah.
And, you know, after he did meet Carlos and everything like that, and he's like, oh, he seems really cool. Like, hopefully, you know, we're able to, like, get together and have a beer together. You know, like how I, you know, did it with you. He was like, oh, that'd be cool if, you know, me and Carlos. And I was like, no, he's not going to do it. And he's like, why? And I was like, because Carlos is the type where, you know, he's like, he trusts, like, your... I was like, yeah, honestly, he does. I was like, like, I think that's why we've never had issues with anybody I've ever dated. Bless you. Excuse me. But, like, I was like, but it's more or less, like, just Carlos is a homebody. Like, he's just, you know, just chill. Just chill. I mean, they probably would have been able to smoke together, and that would have been funny. But, like... You know, because I felt like they would have had, like, they had a lot in common, too. Like, with, like, the whole fighting and, you know, everything like that. And then, when he did meet her, he was like, oh, my God. He's like, I'm fucking nervous, babe. Like, he literally got ready.
Yeah,
he did his hair.
Yep.
Like,
Relate.
And then, like, you just see them off, like, running around. Like, he was, like, laughing. Like, he was actually playing with her.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I was like, okay, I'm good. But for me now, being older and she's older,
yeah,
she is more of, like, protective. Like, I don't want to meet anybody until I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, that is fine with me, baby.
Which is so interesting because it's like dating with kids, it changes over time. Because now she's, like, her own person who has her own autonomy and her own ideas and opinions. So you have to ask, like, what do you think about this? You know?
I think it helps too that you were honest with her about, like, what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, obviously you're not gonna tell her, like, everything, but, like, you're not gonna hide things from her, you know?
Yeah.
Not pretend like, oh, he, like, I don't know, he just disappeared one day, you know?
Yeah. He went to go get a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
I have a question for both of you. So I'll start with Carlos and then go to you. So Carlos, one, I would say probably sit up a little bit just because of the mic.
Yeah.
And then, how did you feel after you saw Jaden and I interact for that first time? Like, what did you feel when you saw us, like, getting along, I guess?
Well, I mean, I was relieved, but I mean, I feel like Jaden's really, like, a loving kid. So, as long as you're not a bad person, like, I feel like she could sense that too, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, like, and I knew you weren't a bad person, so, like, I already, like, I didn't expect anything less, you know?
You weren't surprised by it?
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah. Now, what about you? So when she met, we'll go by your ex, even though he's...
We'll call him...
We don't even have to call him anything. Nothing. That's him. So, how did you feel after it went well when they met?
Relieved, too. Yeah. And as much as I hate to admit it, it just made me fall in love with him more.
Yeah.
Because, like...
Because your kid is
their interaction, because I've never seen her interact with anybody like that at all. So it was different. And I was just like, okay, shit, I'm in trouble. Like, what if this guy is someone I'm supposed to be with? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Because
I don't go into a relationship and be like, oh, I'm going to marry him. That was never me. I'm like, no, I can see us having a very long-term relationship. I'm more of a relationship kind of person. Like, with marriage, it's not that I don't believe in it. I just feel like...
You don't need it.
You don't need a piece of paper or anything. I've always been down to the, like, let's do a commitment ceremony kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's more of me.
I understand that.
You know, just like for legal reasons too. It's not messy. It's just you leave with you brought in and I'll leave with what I brought in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I saw them two interact with each other, it was actually really hilarious. Because, like, I went to a store, and when it came out, I was like, where the fuck did they go? And you literally see them two just hiding behind, like, you know those signs at the mall?
Yes.
Those long fucking signs? And all I hear is her laughing. And I was like, where the hell did she go? And like, you see her pop her head out, like, trying to hide.
Oh, cute.
And I was like, damn it, Jaden. And then you see him do the same thing. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? And they were like, you know, just laughing and everything like that. And then just seeing that interaction, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like, this one's a good one. Because she never, anytime that she felt like a certain way with anybody, like the first time that she did meet when she was young, she saw him give me a kiss on the cheek. She fucking hated him after that.
How
Like
old
she was like a year and a half, maybe like a year.
Interesting.
And she saw him kiss me on the cheek, and I was like, oh, okay, because I never really showed affection to any of like the guys I dated in front of her, just out of respect to her. I didn't want to do that, and she literally saw him do that, and she goes up to him and she literally just pushes him like that, and I'm like, oh, and he even got surprised. He was like, oh, okay.
She's on my mom.
Yeah, and like it was like that. So I was like, what the fuck?
And just so she knows.
Yeah, and I think I had asked him, and he's like, no, she's never done that. I was like, what the fuck, why me? And then with the ex that I was living with for so long, I think she just started seeing like how I was getting treated and how it was affecting me. Like, I literally stopped talking to so many people.
Well, and kids know when they're mom.
Yeah, and she actually started to not like him.
Yeah.
Even after we broke up, she never once mentioned him, like, at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I dodged a bullet then.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, a sign right there. Like, I was good.
So,
yeah.
I have more questions. So, Carlos, what would your advice be to a dad with a child going into a relationship? Like, what's your advice for anybody who's going into this? Dating with their kid.
Well,
I know. I don't want to put too much pressure.
I know. Pressure's on.
I guess, I don't know, I guess being honest. I mean, it's stupid because it's like, it doesn't matter whether you have a kid or not, you should always be honest. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Probably, you know what it is? You know what's a really good idea? Is letting the baby mom, giving them a heads up that you're like, oh, by the way, you know, I'm seeing this person, and like I'm thinking about introducing them to the baby, you know, or the child, however old.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way, like that will save you a lot of fucking headaches and fights in the future, you know, like, because like if it's gonna happen, like they're gonna find out, and if you hide it, you try to hide it, because most people try to hide it.
I just said that. Yeah.
Most people are gonna try to hide it, and like that just makes you look like shady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know. So I would just be honest from the get go, and honestly, like, because sometimes I've been like, sometimes I'm a little too honest, and like it surprises people, but like I feel like that's how it should be, you know, like you should always be like I feel like people will appreciate you more, like like, oh yeah, like that person always says the most honest things, even if it doesn't necessarily look good on them, you know, like I could trust that person and tell me the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Communication.
At least you know that there's no like shadiness. At least if like you wanted a fully honest opinion, like you can go to like someone that's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Sam, so I have two questions for you. So one is, what's your advice to moms dating when they have kids, and what's your advice to moms going through a breakup when they have kids?
Fuck. My advice to moms that want to start dating or are dating, just don't. If you guys are just dating, don't introduce the kid to that person. If you are in a relationship, that's a different kind of story. I feel like take into consideration if your child doesn't like that person, because usually kids, especially at a young age, they feel like that energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people just only worry about what they're feeling instead of like their child. And then that's where a lot of the stuff usually does start. It's not like you're going to be alone forever. It's just more or less like trust that gut feeling that your kid has.
Yes.
Like they have it for a reason.
We teach our kids to trust their gut. You gotta
like
honor
if
that.
if we tell our kids like, oh, don't let anybody do this, don't, you know, but you're telling them no, like you're young, you don't understand, like it's fine. No, like we're just take into consideration what they're feeling about it. And if they're not comfortable with it, don't force them to be around that person. Because I feel like that's where a lot of people kind of fuck it up. And then they get mad or like they choose their, you know, significant other over their child. And then that's where their child like starts like acting up or just starts like, you know, just having like an attitude and being different. So I feel like there's a reason why your kid's being like that. And it's like, don't abandon them just because you found your quote unquote happiness. Like that doesn't, no.
Your
that
kids
doesn't mean that,
priority. Yeah.
And if you're going through a breakup, fuck. That's hard. For me personally, the will to keep me going was Jaden, to show her that in your life you're going to have a lot of heartbreaks. But when you fall in love again, like over and over again, it just gets better and better as the years go on. And it's not going to stop. You know, like don't like lose hope either.
And you're also setting an example for your child. Because they're going to go through breakups.
Yeah. Like so I feel like this year I did show her.
You did. You set a really good example.
Yeah.
You grew so much as a person.
I feel like
I'm making emotional. You did.
I was like, don't you dare start.
You know what I really hope that Jaden understands is that, like with the whole, like, dating someone.
Yeah.
And, like, going through breakups and stuff. That, like, because, like, this is something that, like, I just, like, found out, like, at my age, you know? Like, when I started dating her. It was, like, you always think, like, after a breakup, you always think, like, oh, like, how could I, after the breakup, how could I love someone else as much as I love this person, you know? And then you're like, someone better comes around and you're like, holy fuck, like, I had no idea that I could love a person this much after this, after I thought, like I would give the world to this person. Yeah. I thought that was, like, the peak of the love I could feel, you know, but then this other person comes along and that's even better, and you're like, so I just hope that she understands that like it's not like an end all, you know. Like if you break up with someone, it's like there's a lot of people out there, like there's a lot of personalities and people that you could bond with, you know, in different ways. Like it's not like love isn't like this like one way.
Yeah, like one way street. There's more.
Like it's just infinite. There's different ways you can, you know, like feel, you know.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
I remember being heartbroken at 14 and thinking
I
was never going to get better.
It
hurts so bad. Yes.
Yeah. I think she definitely sees that now, because I remember, like I said, with the most recent breakup that I did have, she was there for it too. Yeah. And she is older and she'll ask me questions, and I was always honest with her about it. And I always tried to tell her, I was like, it wasn't you that he left, it was me. Yeah. It was me. Like, that doesn't mean that just because he doesn't love me that he doesn't love you either. Like, I know that he did. You know? And I was like, just certain things that I would see him do, like I would only see Carlos do. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I've never seen anybody else do it.
I know. So, I saw.
Yeah, and I had told her, I was like, I'm okay though. And she's like, okay, as long as you're okay, Mom. I was like, yes. Like, looking at her face, I think every day when I had her, I was just like, okay, I can't let it get to me. Like, I can't.
She's the reason
I can't stop.
Yeah.
I have to show her that you could be strong. And that it just gets better as you get older too. Like, don't let it stop you. Yeah.
It will.
So I think she's taking that in for sure.
So I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know if you have any questions. Check out our Instagram page. I'll put all of our links in the description below.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.